There's a crash coming. Almost everyone knows this now, either intellectually or intuitively. We're not talking about a financial crash, although of course there will be more and bigger financial crashes. Nothing fundamental has changed. The system that caused the 2008 crash is back in place and is a system that causes regular meltdowns. But as damaging as financial crashes are, they're insignificant compared to the coming ecological crash. We need a new system. Sticking plasters to cover the symptoms won't work. But this isn't meant to induce pessimism or despair, just realism. Although there's probably no way to avoid the crash, there are ways to push it back in time, mitigate its effects, and catch people when it happens. This is the most optimistic story we can tell. First, we all have an impact on nature. You can reduce yours and help others do the same. However, we're still living in a damaging economy, but we can change that too. There are two sectors of the current economy, extractive and non-extractive. This is how the extractive sector works. You work, your work produces value. You produced it, but you don't get it all. Some goes to shareholders. For example, with Uber, 30% is taken from new drivers for shareholders. But in many cases, a lot more than half of it goes to shareholders. Remember, there are many millions of sweatshop workers who receive a few cents to make a pair of trainers that cost £150. That happens, and it's very normal in the extractive sector. Money attracts money, so this extractive wealth concentrates in fewer and fewer hands and overflows into the political system and corrupts it. Again, everyone knows this. This corruption due to wealth concentration prevents real democracy. The extractive sector also requires ever-increasing consumption. If we don't consume more and more, the extractive economy slows down. And investors don't get a big enough return on their investments to incentivise them to invest. Continually increasing consumption means that we're eating into nature, which is a path that can only end in our extinction. With an extractive economy, we can't do anything to stop it because we don't have the power. This is a seriously bad situation. But then there's the non-extractive sector. This is how the non-extractive sector works. You work, your work produces value. There are no external shareholders, so you get to keep all the value, apart from a share of what's needed to keep the business going. So there's no concentration of extracted wealth. So it can't flow into the political system and corrupt it. So we can have real democracy. And it doesn't require ever-increasing consumption, because there are no external shareholders who want a perpetual increase in returns. This is the sector of co-ops, sole traders, community land trusts, credit unions, the commons, think Wikipedia, peer-to-peer, mutual credit, and so on. To conservatives, this is what a truly free market and free society looks like. To socialists, leaving allocation to the market avoids centralised power in the state, which always leads to totalitarianism. There's nothing wrong with exchange. People have always done it. The extractive sector centralises power and destroys nature. The non-extractive sector does neither of those things. Here's how you can join the great people building the non-extractive economy. On lowimpact.org, you can gain the skills to do things for yourself rather than have to obtain them from the corporate sector, live more sustainably to help push back the date of and mitigate the effects of the crash, and to survive it if it happens in your lifetime. Start or join a business or organisation that's part of the new non-extractive economy, producing goods and services for your community. On noncorporate.org, you can help build this new economy by purchasing the things you need from non-extractive businesses. Money is problematic because it can be hoarded, accumulated, concentrated, speculated with, and lent at interest. So what's the alternative? Mutual credit is the exchange system for the new economy. Businesses offer interest-free credit to each other without requiring money. If you're part of a small business or co-op, or if you're a sole trader, consider joining the UK Mutual Credit Network. So how do we grow the non-extractive sector? Giant co-ops risk being bought out or failing, like the Co-op Bank, no longer a co-op. Instead, we need to federate local co-ops to grow the sector. We believe that a layered approach to federation, combining mutual credit and an idea called the viable system model, is the most promising way to build a new non-extractive economy. We advocate a federated, decentralised, non-extractive economy for sustainability, democracy, and a society that maximises human happiness and potential. Join us.